All right, guys, welcome to Math Day. Welcome to today is Friday. So welcome. We are going to be shifting gears a little bit. We're going to be moving into our metric system unit, but it's going to be really similar to our unit with our decimals. So it's going to be something that we're going to be working with here. So you need the following pages out. Go ahead and get these out for me. 168, 177, and 179. I'll give you a second to get those out. All right, so we're going to start on page 168. Now, 168 is a blank white sheet of paper. So if you don't have page 168, or if you, it should just be an old sheet in our binder, you just need to find some place that you have a full white sheet of paper. So find an old math sheet, find somewhere on the back that doesn't have anything written, because this is going to be really important what we're getting ready to draw. This chart is what we're going to use in our metric system unit. And if you understand the chart, it makes what we're going to do so much easier. Okay. So this is what you are going to do. I'm going to draw it. Let me draw it out, and then you can pause the video and then you can go ahead and draw yours out as well. All right, so I'm going to draw a big rectangle all the way across. Let's put it here. All right, so you're going to draw something like this on your paper. Now, you're going to notice that you've got this exact chart. You're going to have this chart on your Google Classroom as well, and your teacher's going to pull that up. But we're going to recreate something that looks like this here today, okay? So our metric conversion. So we're just going to go ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going here with it, and then we're going to look at what this is going to be. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. So the important ones that we're going to be looking at here in fifth grade, excuse me, are the ones that you see that I actually wrote out here. Okay, now you're going to notice a couple other letters that are also here. Those are still important because that helps me with my ladder and with my jumping. Okay, but what we're going to be looking at here is we're going to be converting our different types of numbers. Now, if you know your customary measures like your feet and inches and yards, it's all over the place. But here, it's really nice because it's powers of 10. It's going to be powers of 10, okay? So let's take a look at this and see if we can figure out. I'm going to give you an example, and we're going to see if we can figure out what is going to be in each of our different slides. So let's say that we have, so this, our units column is either going to be meters, it's either going to be liters, or grams. All right, so meters represent length, liters represent volume, and gram represents weight. Okay, so three different types that we could have here. All right, so let's take a look at what this is going to be. Let's say that I've got 100 meters. Okay. Now, everything to this side of my chart is a bigger unit than meters. It's larger. And everything to this side of my chart to the right is smaller than meters. So every time that I am going to move this way, I am going to be multiplying because since it's a smaller thing, it's going to have to get more pieces, okay? For example, Let me give you an example of the customary. Let's say that the table I'm writing on is 4 feet, okay? 4 feet. How many inches would that be? Would it be more than 4 inches or less than 4 inches? If it's 4 feet, how many inches would it be? Well, hopefully you would say, wait, I know there's 12 inches in a foot, so it would be 48 inches. It would be more, and you would be right because it's a smaller unit, right? So if I took here, I have 4 feet, here's a foot. It takes 4 of these, but my inches, you see up here, my inches are really small. It's going to take a lot of the little small ones to equal 4 feet. Same thing here. So each time that I go over, I'm actually going to be multiplying by 10 with my powers of 10. So let's take a look what would then go in each of my different slots. So 100 meters, it would equal 1,000. In this one, it would equal 10,000. And we'll say centimeters in this one, and it would equal 100,000 millimeters. Well, what did I do each time? I added a 0. So when I multiplied by 10 here, I added a 0. Multiplied by 10 here, added a 0. Multiplied by 10 here, added a 0. So I could tell you that 100 meters is the same thing as 100,000 millimeters. All of these are equal. They're all the exact same thing. Okay, now if I go the other way and I go this way, I'm actually getting a bigger unit, which means I have to divide. Okay, so I'm going to now, I go this way, I'm going to divide by 10 on each one, which means taking away a 0 or shifting my decimal. So watch what's going to happen. So if I have 100, if I divide by 10, I get 10. If I divide by 10, I get 1. And if I divide, I get 1/10. So look what happens here. So once again, all of these are equal. And this would be kilometers. Okay, so you've got this. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when you're looking at this chart can be really confusing, but it's the same thing that we just looked at. Okay, so now we kind of have a chart of what this looks like. All of these are equal. So 10 or 100,000 millimeters is the same thing as 1/10 kilometer, which is crazy to think about, but that's how small these are, and that's how big these are, is that they're the exact same here. Okay, now you're going to see a little cool little phrase that's going to help you remember where each of these places go. But remember, we only really care about 4 of these places. We care about kilo, the K, the units, we care about the C, the centi, and we care about the milli. Okay, so those are the ones that we care about, but we can't forget about the ones that go in between, because that helps us with our jumping, right? If we didn't have these 2 columns, then it would be like, uh-oh, we would go right from here into kilo, and that wouldn't be the correct thing to do. Okay, so look at this carefully, because what we're going to be looking at today is we are going to be comparing some animal sizes. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at this sheet right here. You're going to compare these. Okay, you've got a blue whale that is 30 meters long. That's what the M stands for. You've got a centipede 30 centimeters, a bottlenose dolphin 3 meters, and a frog, poison dart frog, 3 centimeters. So you're going to have to convert these measurements to figure out what do you notice about each one. There's some questions here, okay? So if the dolphin is going to be right here in this middle column, it's going to be 30 meters. How many centimeters would the dolphin or would the whale be? So if I were to go over 1, 2 columns times 10 times 10, how many centimeters would the whale be? I want you to try to figure that out. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other one. So be converting your numbers back and forth. Your teacher's going to be looking, and they're going to have this chart out. If you've got a printer at home, you might even want to print this chart out so you've got it, but you've got it there on your computer so you can look at it to see how are we going to go over from the different jumps. And then you've got a journal assignment here as well, but you're also going to compare these and tell me what do you notice about each one. So create your chart. You can go through and talk about this more with your teacher, talk about this chart, and then you've got 2 pages that you're going to complete trying to compare your meters, your centimeters, and even your millimeters. So see if you can start making those jumps from one to the other and see if that's making sense. Remember, this is the first day we're looking at this. We're going to be looking at this for several days, but it's really important to make sure we've got our chart here and that we're looking at our chart here. And you can take a look at the example to see, does that example make sense here? If I had 5,000 units, what's happening? Well, add a 0, add a 0, add a 0. What's happening this way? Take away a 0, take away a 0, take away a 0. So you have to just remember, when you're moving to the right, it's getting bigger because I'm going to a smaller place. And when I go to the left, I'm dividing because it's getting to a bigger unit. Okay, so take a look at that, have that conversation with your class, and then complete pages 177 and 179, seeing if you can figure out each of the different distances of the things they give you. All right, enjoy your weekend, guys. I will see you on Monday.